This is the lesson for 8-3, day 1. All right, volume of spheres. The formula for volume of a sphere, first of all, a sphere is like a ball, like a bowling ball, a basketball, a tennis ball, all right, that baseball. It's that type of shape. So the formula is volume equals 4/3 times pi times r cubed. R cubed means the third power for the fraction 4/3. Just like we had yesterday with 1/3, today we have the fraction 4/3. 4/3, you could either do, and this is probably the easiest way to do it, you could just type in for 4/3 4 divided by 3 right at the beginning of the problem. Or what 4 divided by 3 really is, what 4/3 really is 1.33333333 or 1.3 repeating. So the big thing is that you can't type in 1.3. You can't type in 1.33. You can't type in 1.333. You have to fill up the whole screen with threes because we are rounding our answers to the nearest tenth again. All right. So if you don't put the appropriate number of threes, you will get the wrong answer every time. Again, the safest way to do it is just type in 4 divided by 3 at the beginning of the problem. That way you don't have to worry about the number of threes. It will give you the right number. All right. Otherwise, just fill up your whole screen with threes. So we have that 4/3. For pi, same thing as the past couple days. Either use the pi button on the calculator or use the decimal 3.1416. So either the pi button or that decimal. Now, r to the third power, or r cubed. What you have to do, let's say that the radius, first of all, again, you will be given the radius sometimes and you will be given the diameter sometimes. If you're given the diameter, remember the diameter goes across the whole circle. We only want the radius that goes across half of the circle. So if you're given the diameter, you have to divide it by 2 or multiply by 0.5 to give you the radius first. Then we're going to plug in our radius into the formula. We have r to the third power. Now, when you go to type this into your calculator, there is no cubed button in the calculator. Let's say that the radius was 5. You would have to type in 5 caret button 3. If you don't have a caret button on your calculator, what 5 to the third power is, it's not 5 times 3. It's really 5 times 5 times 5. All right, that's what 5 to the third power is. So again, if you don't have a caret button on your calculator for 5 caret button 3, you'd have to type in 5 times 5 times 5. So taking a look at these, all right, this is a picture of a sphere. All right, again, it's like a ball, like a baseball or a softball or a basketball. So this is our radius right here. Our radius goes from the center of the sphere out towards one of the edges of the sphere. So this goes halfway across the sphere. That means that this 6 is our radius. So we're going to take that and sub it into the formula. So we have 4/3 or 4 divided by 3 or 1.33333 times pi, or again 3.1416 times the radius cubed. So our radius is 6. So we're going to do 6 to the third power. Remember, 6 to the third power would really be 6 caret button 3, or 6 times 6 times 6. So in the questions that you have to round to the nearest tenth, because half of your questions today will be rounded to the nearest tenth, you're going to type in all 3 things right into the calculator. Again, because we're using pi, you're going to get a big, long, ugly decimal, 904.7786842, blah, blah, blah at the end, because it keeps on going. We're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. The 7 is in the 10th spot. You have to look at the number after it. That number after it is 5 or higher, so this is going to round up to be 904.8. Just like the past couple of days, you're also going to have to leave your answer in terms of pi. So when you go to leave your answer in terms of pi, remember, you want to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So you want to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So we're still going to have our 4/3. We're still going to have our 6 to the third power. I'm just going to stick my pi symbol here at the beginning, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick my pi symbol at the end of my answer. The only thing that you type into the calculator is 4/3 times 6 to the third power. When you do that, you get 288. So you get 288 pi. Remember, when you go to type it into Classkick, you're going to do 288 and then just the word pi after it. No spaces in between the 8 and the p. Again, just like the past couple days, sometimes these will be decimals. If you get a decimal, don't round it when you're leaving answers in terms of pi. You only round it when it says to round it. When you're doing the in terms of pi answer, you do not round anything. This one just happened to be a whole number. All right. So that's how we do this one. This one, we did the radius. This one is giving you the diameter. Notice that this 9 is going all the way across this sphere. Since this 9 is going all the way across, this is really your diameter. If the diameter is 9, we have to find the radius. So we have to take this 9 and divide it by 2 to give us 4.5 for our radius. Remember, we never want the diameter. We always want the radius. This goes all the way across, so that's your diameter. We want to divide by 2 to give us our radius. So again, we're going to plug the numbers into the formula where they belong. 4/3 times pi times your radius cubed, or to the third power. So we have 4/3 times pi times 4.5 to the third power. Take and type in all three things right into the calculator. When you do that, you get a big long decimal answer, 381.7035074, blah, blah, blah at the end because it keeps on going. We're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. The 7 is in the tenths place. We have to look at the number after it. That number after it is 4 or lower. So this 7 is going to stay the same. So our final answer rounded to the nearest tenth is 381.7. If we had to do this one in terms of pi, you're going to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So you're still going to have your 4/3. You're still going to multiply by 4.5 to the third power, but we're just going to take our pi symbol and stick it at the end of our answer. The only thing that you're going to type into the calculator is 4/3 times 4.5 cubed. Remember, we don't type in pi when we're leaving it in terms of pi. We just stick it at the end. So 4/3 times 4.5 cubed gives us 121.5. So our final answer is 121.5. Remember, if you get a big long decimal answer here, do not round it. This is not a rounded answer. That's what it actually comes out to be. All right. So I'd like you to try one of these on your own, please. That says 3.2. Go ahead and find it both ways, rounded to the nearest tenth and in terms of pi. Go ahead and try this one on your own, please. This 3.2 goes halfway across our sphere. So this 3.2 is our radius. So we're going to have 4/3 times pi times 3.2 to the third power. So when you're rounding it to the nearest tenth, you're going to type in all three of those, including the pi symbol. When you do that, you should have gotten 137.2582774, blah, blah, blah. Rounded to the nearest tenth. The 2 is in the tenths place. You have to look at the number after it. That is 5 or higher. So you're going to round up to be 137.3. Leaving your answer in terms of pi. When you go to leave your answer in terms of pi, you want to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So 4/3 times 3.2 to the third power. We're just going to take our pi symbol and stick it at the end. So all that you're typing into the calculator is 4/3 times 3.2 to the third power. You get a big long decimal answer. You get 43.690666666666666666666 or 6 repeating. Again, don't round these answers. Don't put 43.7. When you go to leave it in terms of pi, you're not rounding anything. You only round in the decimal questions where it says to round, right? So this would be our answer. Go ahead and try this one, please. That 7.5 is going all the way across our sphere, right? That 7.5 is going all the way across. Go ahead and try this one, please. So in this one, you are given the diameter. We never want the diameter. We want the radius. So the first thing that you'd have to do is take that 7.5 and divide by 2. 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75 for our radius. So that's the number that you're going to sub into your formula. We have 4/3 times pi times 3.75 to the third power. When you're doing the questions that you have to round to the nearest tenth, you're going to type in all 3 of those things. 4/3 times pi times 3.75 to the third power. You get a big long decimal answer, 220.8932335, blah, blah, blah at the end. We're going to round your answer to the nearest tenth. 8 is in the 10th spot. We have to look at the number after it. That's 5 or higher. So we're going to round up to be 220.9. If we had to leave our answer in terms of pi, you're going to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So 4/3 times 3.75 to the third power. We're just going to take our pi symbol and stick it at the end of our answer. So all that you're going to type into the calculator is 4/3 times 3.75 to the third power. When you do that, you get a decimal answer, 70.3125 pi. Again, don't round your leave in terms of pi answers. So the other kind of question that you're going to have just gives you the measurements. It does not give you a picture. So in this one, it's just telling you that the radius is 5. So all that you would do is stick in your measurement where it belongs. So 4/3 times pi times 5 to the third power. If we were rounding to the nearest tenth, you're just going to multiply all 3 of those together. 523.5987756 We're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. 5 is in the tens place. We have to look at the number after it. That is 5 or higher. So this would round up to be 523.6. When we take a look at leaving it in terms of pi, you have to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So 4/3 times 5 to the third power. Remember, all that we're going to do with our pi symbol is just stick it at the end of our answer. So all that you're typing into the calculator is 4/3 times 5 to the third power. You get 166.6 repeating, or 0.666666666666666. Remember, don't round when it says leave in terms of pi. I'd like you to try this last one on your own. It's giving you the diameter. Remember, we do not want the diameter. You want the radius. So you need to calculate the radius first. Go ahead and try this last one, please. So the first thing that you need to do is find your radius by dividing the diameter by 2. 13 divided by 2 gives you 6.5 for our radius. Subbing the numbers into the formula where they belong, we have 4/3 times pi times 6.5 to the third power. If this was a round to the nearest 10th question, you're going to type in all three things together, and you get 1,150.34651. You're going to round your answer to the nearest 10th. So 3 is in the tens place. Look at the number after it. It's 4 or lower. So that 3 is going to stay the same. If we were leaving it in terms of pi, you're going to type in everything except for the pi symbol. So 4/3 times 6.5 to the third. All that we're going to do with our pi symbol is just stick it at the end of our answer. So the only things that you are typing into the calculator is 4/3 times 6.5 to the third. When you do that, you get an answer of 366.1666666666666 or 6 repeating pi. So again, be very, very careful. Make sure that you use 4 divided by 3 for 4/3 or 1.33333. Fill up that whole screen. Also make sure that you are paying attention whether you're given the radius or given the diameter.